one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bow your heads. Lord, we thank you for this day, and we come before you with gratitude for the opportunity to serve our community. We ask for wisdom and discernment as we make decisions this evening. Help us listen with open minds, to lead with humility, and to treat one another with respect and compassion. Amen.
Amen. All righty, I'm going to look to our city manager. Approval of agenda, any changes, kind sir?
One change, we're going to remove the closed session item for tonight. It'll be on the next calendar item, or next agenda, apologies.
No other changes?
No other changes.
And I need a motion and a second to carry a minute agenda, moving closed session to the next meeting.
I so move.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Prout, second by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Given.
Yes, this evening we have two presentations to do. We're going to start with our American Red Cross, even though you guys are all ready for this. We'll start with American Red Cross here. Come on. Standing up there to make them not feel so short, maybe. All right, I'm okay with that. This is the proclamation for American Red Cross Month for March of 2026. Whereas Clara Martin founded the American Red Cross over a century ago, and since then the American Red Cross has been at the forefront of providing relief and care to Americans, delivering support across our country and around the world, showcasing the best of humanity in times of crisis. Whereas advancing this noble mission, the volunteers and supporters who now give back through the American Red Cross, Kern County and Eastern Sierra chapter remain unwavering in their commitment to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of today's emergencies. And whereas in 2024, the rural fire burned areas surrounding the community of Lake Isabella, where Red Cross volunteers responded immediately to establish safe shelters and Ridgecrest in Tehachapi, welcoming families and neighbors displaced. Whereas their voluntary and generous contributions shine a beacon of hope in people's darkest hours, delivering shelter, food, and comfort during disasters, providing critical blood donation for hospital patients, and supporting service members, veterans, and their families, saving lives with first aid, CPR, AED, and other skills, or delivering international aid and reconnecting loved ones separated by global crisis. And whereas this work to uplift our community is truly made possible by those who selflessly answer the call to help, whenever and wherever it's needed. Now therefore, I, Jack Gibbons, Mayor for the City of Shafford, do now hereby proclaim March as our Red Cross Month. Thank you very much, sir. Wait, can I have you guys come down?
You want us now?
Yes. Mr. Can't run.
Hi. Oh.
There's a handful of presentations tonight, so bear with us as we go through this. I'm gonna read this out, and then I know you got some other folks who have some things going on too, so I hope some of them was, yes, good. Yes. Good.
It's a surprise.
Thank you.
You didn't want your time.
No, well.
Whereas Captain Sean Patterson, KO 622, has served with the Kern County Fire Department for 26 years, including 20 years dedicated right here to providing service to the citizens of Shafter. And prior to attending the Fire Academy in 1999, Captain began his service to Kern County at the age of 18. So you're only like 43 right now. Working one season on the Kern County Fire Department helicopter crew, followed by a year serving on a hand crew based out of Lake Isabella. And whereas Captain Patterson's dedication to public service totals an impressive 33 years of service to the residents of Kern County, when including his early work with the county. He served at several fire stations within the department, including Station 65 in Central Bakersfield, 74 in Ridgecrest, and Station 32 right here in Shafter, where his service began in 2005 following his promotion to captain. Captain became deeply involved in the community, participating in events such as Beat Across America, School Festival, Shafter High School sporting events, Career Day, Christmas Parade, 5K Color Run during his time in Shafter, and has also played a key role in mentoring and training new firefighters by hosting trainees at Station 32 for 3 months following their graduation from the Fire Academy, helping guide and prepare the next generation of firefighters. Whereas Captain Patterson responded to more than 19,000 emergency calls for service, including approximately 7,500 calls protecting the citizens of Shafter, responding to significant incidents, including the Shafter Press building fire and the GAF roofing materials fire. Whereas Captain Patterson is known for his humility, kindness, dedication, and has served not only as a committed firefighter, but also as a devoted father and family man. So now, therefore, we now commemorate you on this day, myself and the entire city council, to honor you in the time that you have spent as you're getting ready for this retirement moment. And we are grateful and honored to have been in your presence. Grateful and honored that you chose Shafter to serve in and be part of. You have been huge advocate for this place, and we are better because you've been.
Thank you.
Thank
I'm so glad that. Yeah, I've enjoyed working here at, police department to public works to, the whole city. It's been great. Chapter has a sense of community, which I really cherish. That's why I stayed here so long.
It's been fantastic.
That's it.
I think there's more stuff. Are you guys doing that?
Let you get.
Okay, I don't want to step on toes.
That's also.
You got more cool stuff that's coming up here. They got, yeah, yeah. And then you have a nice little hat, but you're off. Very good. Thank you.
Oh, you want to try to have rain? Captain, turn your camera around.
Oh, not you.
How do you guys take one step? Yeah, we'll have, why don't you sit down here and look up there? Yeah.
Don't run too far, don't run too far. Get the hat. Do this in your hands, okay, sir? Wait, let me run away first. No, don't run. Stay. Back. We're staying, we go. No, we're going. Well, they'll be there. Got it. Okay. Oh, you lit?
Oh, okay.
Third. Speak. So, on the behalf of the Shafter Police Officers Association, the Shafter Police Department, we just want to show gratitude if they came up with it. We acknowledge your amazing work, partnership you have done for us. You know, you guys treated our officers when we got hurt. You guys have been there for us for all these, all through that, such a good working partnership. So we got you this, we signed the back of it and the front. Oh, that's cool. Thank you. Peter, me, great.
Can we get a group picture?
He's got your big friend.
Hope you got your big truck to put it in.
Oh.
But you want to be
Thing's massive.
Who
I want one.
made it, dude?
I know a guy.
Yeah, I know. And I've had a lot of jealousy when I saw it walk in the door. It is beautiful.
They did a good job.
They had, he told me, Nash told me the guy who let him trick on it. It is awesome.
all together with Petey.
Come on, guys.
First time.
Do it before your radios go off, man.
Get in there.
Calendar, keep your shirt from it.
Trust me, I can't see us back here. We're good. It's great.
We're
It's great.
good.
I love it. It's awesome, guys. York. Why are you not in?
He's not the association.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, thank you. Yeah.
Good job.
And I know some of our fire crews here. I don't know if you guys had anything you wanted to add or say as well. Any of your fire crew want to say some words before? There's always one guy. Oh, I gotta. Speech.
Good.
If no one, then Cap, here, there you go.
Well, I think out of everyone here, I probably know Tom Torres, but it's been. You didn't know what you were getting when I first bit in. I know we, started off a little rough as I was learning my way still, and you were a really good role model as far as a captain, a leader, a family man. I just want to thank you for everything and hope you enjoy retirement. Thank you, Nick.
Oh, yeah.
Fire. I've known Sean for quite a while, many years. We have worked together. I worked opposite shift with Sean here in Shafter and also throughout the time for a long time. So Sean's been a great member of our department. We're sad to see him go, but we know that he's earned it well. And we're excited for his retirement and the future he has with his team. So thank you all for being here.
Sean, anything you want to add?
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, sir, for all the service. You have been fantastic. Just the times getting to see you with the kiddos too. I know the kids used to always go through the station. You guys had classes there and all the craziness that used to happen through that process. And you guys have been fantastic. You've served wonderfully and you embody the idea of the community spirit, right? I understand your current fire, but you really are Shafter. And we love that. We love that this has been your home and this has been who you are and that every step of the way, it's like, this is it, right? We may have a current fire on our sleeve, but this is your community and we love that about you. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Council?
We're happy you gave us as much time as you did. So what you did for us, we hope we return to you too. So have fun.
I just want to share something with Sean is that I came on board in 2008 and I got to know Sean very well. Actually, I went on a ride along with Sean and his team and then we also, participated a lot in our Christmas parade and he was also the contact person that if I ever needed anything, I would call him and Sean would take care of it, do all the paperwork. And I just want to say thank you, Sean. And even when my mom got sick, the last time you were there, you were the captain at the time and you responded. And, after so many years of seeing you, Sean, you do become family, believe it or not, you do become family. You just like become a person that you trust because you've known that person for so long, or all the years that we've done community events and just, even when you had called me one time about the car seat. I don't know if you remember that one. And then we ended up doing a car seat drive. And then we gave all those car seats to PD and we gave them out. And And then I know there was times that you had called me about, people had donated food to you and you say, hey, you know, want to pick this up? And we went to the Foxy Lady, first time we were going in there. So, yeah. Yeah, so, you know, just a lot of those memories over all the years. And I just want to again, thank you, Sean, for being that contact for me and in the community, and also, you know, just the years, you know, you just became family and someone trust, you know, because just over the years. Thank you, Sean. We're gonna miss that. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain, also for your service. I mean, I know, it's been several years. When I first got told that you were retiring, I was like, I don't think he's old enough. How's he retiring, you know? But, you know, I appreciate your service, being out there working for the PD. You and your team would show up, and I was always happy to see you guys there because it's a whole different way of dealing with what you guys deal with than what, you know, police officers deal with and stuff. But thank you for the years of service, and we got to know you. And again, it was one of those things we could come and talk to you. I know you guys came out. I think I requested you guys to come out to show the fire truck to the preschool kids out at the preschool out at Mantle and Tulare, and you guys came out and showed them, and they were all excited. So I appreciate all that. So thank you very much, and enjoy your retirement.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say thank you for your service and your commitment to the community. And it's people like you that make the department special. So thank you for your service.
All righty, well, we will let you guys out and have fun. We'll give you guys a few minutes. If you're staying, have fun and stay. We can find a seat for you. If you guys are like, no, I'm ready to go, eat a good dinner, we're gonna give you that time. Thank you.
You gotta pass.
I love it. All righty, we're gonna move into our public comment time. Public comment is for any person wishing to speak on any item included on the agenda or on any matter within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. Speakers are invited to speak from the podium and address the city council. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes unless additional time is needed for translation. Please state your name and address for the record. At this time, public comment is open. That would be you. Yes, yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. Everyone knows me, Veronica Jacuinde, Editor-in-Chief of the Wasco Tribune, Shafter Press. First of all, I want to say how excited I am to be here. Hello, audience. I sent a video and a flyer earlier this afternoon. Hopefully you all saw it and you saw the video. The video is of our second annual World Bipolar Day. And hopefully with the video, you saw how vibrant and hopefully how exciting this event is. And you saw that there were artists, performers, speakers, resource organizations, and educational booths. And we are expecting the same this year. And what this is, it is expected to be a welcoming and uplifting environment. And it is a mental health awareness and arts festival. And I'll tell you, last year I was the 2025 NAMI Mental Health Advocate of the Year. And the reason why I do this work, it's very personal. I began this journey because I was diagnosed with bipolar 20 years ago. And my experience was not an easy one. When I was first diagnosed, I did not have the information and the knowledge that I have now. And after 20 years of being diagnosed, it is incredible how successful and how you can thrive when you have the right team supporting you and when you have the information and the education. And I have that now. So what I want to do is I want to share that with my community. And that is why my co-founder, Vice Mayor Gilberto Reyna, and I put on this World Bipolar Day. So we are bringing this celebration to the community. And I am here today to invite my friends here, the Shafter City Council, to attend. And Councilmember Kathy Proud, it was so exciting. She was there last year. Councilmember Gilbert Alvarado was there representing with the Lions Club. And I'm so happy that the Lions Club is actually a sponsor this year, and that is such a blessing. The Shafter High School Dreams Over Drugs Club is going to be there this year. We have a couple of businesses also from Shafter that are going to be there. And so it is my hope that the city of Shafter will participate in any way, maybe with a booth. The Wasco Police Department is going to be involved this year again. The city of Wasco, excuse me, is our partner. The Orange Heart Foundation, you might know, they're involved with the big Wasco parade, and they also do the Christmas parade. They're our sponsor, so they back us. But at this event, we have so far almost 30 information booths. We're counting on the support of almost a dozen artists. Our event celebrates Vincent van Gogh. Vincent van Gogh was known to have bipolar. So we are celebrating the connection between bipolar and creativity. So that's why art is so central to our festival. We're actually going to have some well-known artists leading guided paint workshops so that people can paint in the style inspired by Vincent van Gogh artwork. And that's a big hit. Last year, we had over 100 young people and adults also painting Van Gogh-inspired art. We actually have another artist, he's well-known, Leo Alvarez. Last year, he painted an 8-foot by 8-foot mural of Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night. This year, he'll be painting Vincent van Gogh's sunflowers. So art is very central to our event. We have a huge stage, Ballet Folklorico Huatzecali. They were part of Colors. They're there again this year. And our artists, several artists from the Colors Festival will be participating. We have mental health speakers. So it's very powerful. Oftentimes, these conversations start in bigger cities. So for us to bring this event to smaller communities like Shafter and Wasco, we want to make sure that this information is available to everyone. And this event extends beyond just one day. Our goal is to bring information far beyond just a single day. We are already in talks for education both in Wasco and Shafter for the 2026-2027 school year. So we've already talked to superintendents within Richland School District as well as Wasco Elementary and Wasco High School School District superintendents. So we already have talks in discussion for that. So I want you to know that this is something I'm passionate about. This is something I live with, and it's something I know that you can be happy, have a successful life, thrive, and know that you don't have to be ashamed. You don't have to, be living in the dark like I did for so many years, that you can seek help and that there are resources here in our very community that want to provide those services. And I have the connection that I can bring to the community. So with that, love you guys, want you guys there.
Thank you.
It's Veronica, it's March 28th, right?
Saturday, March 28th, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's completely free. We've got vendors, we've got music. We even have a train for the kids. So Kid Zone, just lots of fun.
Very good.
So
Thank you,
want
ma'am.
you guys there. Can I take a picture with you guys in the front and right here?
Can.
Because I want to put it on social media that I
That's
was
fine.
here. Is that okay?
I was wondering whose camera was back there. I was like, I've never seen him take photos in my life. He was going crazy on photos, and I was like, that is just not what he does. But
You want to stand there? Or it's up to you. You guys can just stay there. I don't want to take up time. I talked for like 10 minutes. I get animated because this is something I'm so excited about.
Come on, Joey.
I'm spending literally over $10,000 on this event. No.
It'll pay off, huh?
3, 2, 1.
I would check those photos, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Fantastic.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other public comment for the evening? All right, with that, public comment is closed. I'm going to move into our council announcements and reports. And I don't remember which way I started last time, so I'm going to go Councilmember Alvarado. I'll start with you this evening.
Well, I don't have much to report other than just one of the events that we're having is through the Lions is the National Prayer Dinner and we actually sold out. So that was a very exciting moment to reach that point. So that's this Friday. So if anybody's still interested, just let me know. We do have, like a waiting list type of deal. And just in case somebody doesn't show up in the group or something, so. But that's all I have to share.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Prout.
Yes, on March the 4th, we had a oath of office for a new Shafter PD officer, Maxwell Taylor, and I believe he's going to come to our meeting next month, right?
Yes, he'll be at the next one.
Yeah, well, it was exciting to meet with him too. Also on the 5th, we had our Kern Cog Regional Awards, and it was showed one of our big employees here in Shafter as the building official, Dennis Fiddler, and he received the Merit for Local Government. Very outstanding presentation as well as remarks that came from Dennis that spoke very well of our city. So we congratulate him again. On the 6th, I went to Grow Academy for the Read Across America, and I read to a group of 5th graders, outstanding group that I had with their intention the whole time I was there, and I really, really had a good time. And anytime you get a chance to read to any students, no matter what grade it is, it's really worth your time and your effort. It's pretty impressive both ways. And then on the 9th, we had our Shafter PD promotional ceremony, which was another exciting time because we had a chance to recognize quite a few of our officers who promoted from officer position to the senior officer, and they included Mitchell Castillo, Jennifer Garcia, and Timothy King. Outstanding people that we've worked with and trained to get up into these leadership positions. Also, we recognize life-saving award for some officers, Rachel Ozeda, Ethan Nosh, and Mitchell Castillo, as well as one officer who went back home to Delano with Arturo Herrera. And they were involved in the saving and helping the young man that was hit by the train here just right at Central Avenue. And then also the Officer of the Year was recognized for our own Shafter local group as Mitchell Castillo. So we congratulated all of them and it was really pretty darn exciting to have a chance to have them all come together and recognize them in front of their family and some of their friends. It was really quite nice. Thank you.
That's all?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I should say about, I did attend the Distinguished Young Women's Program this last weekend. And I know that you were involved in it too. But there were 7 candidates and I can say that I really could boast or brag about each one of them. They were all individual and yet they really presented themselves well. And the training and the work that they get in the last few months to prepare for this program really did shine for them. And at the end, they were able to recognize the judges picked Sarah Jane Osborne to be the Distinguished Young Woman for the following year. She received also scholarship recognition as well as fitness. So she stood out among the group, but really all of the students there did look very well and I was excited to be there and applaud for them. That's right.
Councilmember Espinoza.
On the 4th, I attended the oath of office for Police Officer Maxwell Taylor, and I'd just like to welcome him aboard to the Shafter family. On the 5th, I attended the Kern Cog Annual Regional Awards ceremony where Dennis Fiddler was being recognized for his commitment and tenure with the city. On the 9th, I wasn't able to make this oath of office, but it was for engineer number 2, Gilbert Vega. But I'd like to welcome him aboard.
That's right. I forgot about it.
And then on that day, the police officers had a promotional ceremony. I wasn't able to attend that. I was really missing that at the time it was going on. I really enjoy those, but I'd like to say congratulations to all the officers that were recognized for their service. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Mayor Pro Tem?
I don't have anything. Thank you.
What? All right. Yeah, Read Across America is a fun week. If you, Captain was talking about that earlier and the kids, I know we do Read Across America, but when the guys come in uniform and do it, they tend to like them a little bit more, and that's okay. So we've had a lot of fun. We had another one at Sequoia during that week for Read Across America. And then I'm going to butcher my date. The first Friday event was the 6th. Am I saying that date right? It was the first Friday of March. How can I just say it like that? And fantastic turnout. Very happy to see this festival coming back in. And I know, Lance, you and the team have been working on getting more festivities like that throughout the course of the summer months. And really excited for what we have coming up this year for the remaining of the first Fridays, plus some of the other park events that are going on. And I love it. I love seeing community come together. I love seeing events for families. I love that it is geared towards the family. That is what it's all about. So thank you very much for all the hard work you guys have put in for doing that. And with that, we are going to move into our consent calendar this evening. Consent calendar will consist of 16 items, and I'll try to do a brief read through of these. Number 1, approval of general checks. Number 2, approving payroll. Number 3, approval of overtime report. Number 4, accept the treasurer's report for January of 2026. Number 5, accept the 2025 general plan annual progress report attached as Exhibit B, or Exhibit 1, excuse me, and directing the staff to submit the report to the Governor's Office of Land Use and Climate Innovation and the California Department of Housing and Community Development. Adopt resolution number 3069, accepting said 2025 housing element annual progress report attached as Exhibit A, directing staff to submit to the State Office of Land Use and Climate Innovation, as well as the State Department of Housing, Community Development, and Kern Council of Governments. Number 7, introduce for second reading by title only and waive the reading and adopt ordinance number 778 for our Shafter Municipal Code Title 5, complying with Senate Bill 635. Number 8, introduce for second reading by title only, waive reading and adopt ordinance number 779, an amendment to the Shafter Municipal Code Title 15. Number 9, adopt the City of Shafter Employee Biweekly Pay Schedule effective February 14th. Number 10, adopt resolution number 3070, adopting a revised citywide Title VI program and implementation plan. Number 11, award the contract for roof repairs at the former Modified Community Correctional Facility Administrative Office to Advanced Roofing as the lowest responsive bidder in the amount of $44,900. Number 12, authorize staff to conduct formal bid procedures for the procurement of trees and landscaping services necessary to complete Phase 2 of the urban greening project. Number 13, approve the purchase of one 2026 Chevrolet Traverse vehicle in the amount of $44,511, excuse me, and 81 cents from Richland Chevrolet. Number 14, adopt resolution number 3071. Number 15, accept bids received for the citywide tree trimming projects and issue a notice of award and notice to proceed to TNS Tree Service in the amount of $65,000, or up to $65,000, excuse me. Number 16, lastly, award the purchase, delivery, and installation of office furniture for the MCCF Administrative Office Remodel Project to Sustainable Office Systems LLC in the amount of $44,307.50. Questions, comments, or concerns? And if none, I need a motion and a second to carry, please.
Move the motion.
All right, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera, a second by Councilmember Espinoza. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Gibbon.
Yes, ma'am. All right, this evening we have 4 items on our manager report docket. Item number 1 is the discussion and direction on status of fiber optic expansion and presentation of new website for Soul Fiber. Well, hello, sir.
Honorable Mayor, members, of Shafter City Council, happy St. Patrick's Day if you celebrate. I'm Chris Schultz, the Deputy IT Director, and I have been leading the city's fiber optic expansion project since early 2025. Tonight, I'm happy to report that I'm not here asking for a roll call vote. And I'm not here asking for money. I'm excited to provide council with and the public with a brief update on our expansion, as well as the exciting news of our website being going live today for Shafter Connect. Shafter Online, or Soul Fiber as it's branded, has been a kind of a labor of love over the last 6 months for our department and our partner, Smart Fiber Networks. You're going to hear me say Cyber Fiber a lot in this presentation. Cyber Fiber is the DBA, or the brand that Smart Fiber Networks uses. So I know it's a common question, and I'll get that out of the way first. Additionally, both myself and the marketing team at Cyber Fiber have been working diligently over the past 3 months to create this new website. Excited to show it to you. Now, the $1 million question that everyone has before we get into the slides is, when is this all going to go live for internet service? I am happy to report that we now have a scheduled begin service date of late April.
Nice.
Yeah, which is about 14 months faster than the average municipality for bringing these services, especially when you're starting with no backhaul. And by the end of the summer, all service locations that were identified, there's 851 of them identified in the FFA last mile grant that we received for $7 million, will be serviceable by the end of the summer. So that's exciting news. Soul Fiber also plans to roll out internet services and to homes and businesses that are within the close proximity to our existing expansion areas as the build out is happening. So that's a really important point. We want to make sure that as we are continuing to expand our service connections, we're also being able to service to those who are not specifically within the grant sub areas and just want to join Shafter Connect. Soul Fiber will begin to shift to the areas of town with the most interest after the public fills out our forms online and says, hey, I'm willing to potentially become a customer of Shafter Connect or Soul Fiber. Shafter Online, excuse me, I'm going to get those mixed up. This will give our team, filling out these forms will give our team the mechanism that we'll need to be able to identify where we need to expand to the public based on interest. We're still a small team, but we can do it if the public provides us with that support. And so with that, I'll start with the slides, specifically talking right now about our expansion projects. And again, these are not necessarily related to our grant funding. I just wanted to provide you with a brief update on what we're doing kind of in the background in Shafter. We have recently completed a project to bring our underground fiber conduit and cable down Poso Avenue and Wall Street. Couple of sort of a joint project for the city. The first is we wanted to bring our fiber to the new aquatic center so that we can hook up things like cameras and security on our own network. Additionally, we are preparing to bring our fiber expansion project northward towards Tulare and then into the North Park and North Shafter communities. This project was a massive step for us to be able to get to that Poso and Wall Street vault. So that's a big win for us. We've also expanded our fiber conduit through the track 7318 on Tulare, right at our city limits, and we're now expanded beyond the new North Park construction. So we are preparing underground to bring services to North Shafter, which is the community that's north of Fresno Avenue, as well as to the community that is directly east of the new North Park location, those streets like Sunny and English. So very exciting for us. Again, I mentioned the aquatic center that is actually being installed on Monday, so we'll have that completed at that time, and we'll be prepared to connect as the aquatic center project begins to wrap up. I'm sure Alex is happy about that. Path expanded across the BNSF. So a huge project that we just did for the last two months was working with both wonderful real estate as well as the BNSF in getting our fiber optic, our fiber expansion, both conduits and cable underneath the main BNSF line that runs adjacent to Santa Fe, as well as underneath the Lone Star spur, which is that spur that comes off to the west right before Wonderful's property line ends. Most of this project was in support of bringing our fiber to what will be the future U.S. Cold storage facility at Burbank and Cherry, but also it's a strategic alignment for getting our fiber to the southern part of the South Shafter community, and will eventually bring redundancy to the network at an even greater rate than we already have it. So. And then lastly, the biggest project I've worked on in the last 6 months that you are definitely interested in is what the heck have we been doing at Vets Park? We've just completed the ISP room at Veterans Park, and that it will be fully equipped by the end of this month. We are also in the process of removing the fence that's on the west side of the building. I'm out there often because of kids at the Shafter Commanders and cheerleaders, so I know that this can be an inconvenience, but so far so good. And eventually we will be installing a generator there. Public Works is gracious enough to help us with the cement pad, and then we're going to install the generator, get it hooked into the building for backup power for that facility, and then we're going to put in another fence. So hoping to make it look aesthetically pleasing and then also be able to meet the commander's needs for storage. Oh, do I have it? And so now we'll move on to just last mile grant updates. These are important in a sense of, we have been we have been very slow to get to this point where we are going to begin construction. Explain why here in the next slide, but mainly the main points here is we have a full-scale design to build process, a low-level design for our fiber expansion for all areas within the grant. That has been completely done. We have pole permits and active encroachment permits being done for our current expansion area, which is the downtown south area, which we'll see on the map in a moment. The ISP room at Vets Park, which I just mentioned, it's important to mention that backup power will be in that facility in April. So that'll help us with, if anything happens, there's power cuts on the network, and those first few customers that get connected can feel confident that they won't lose service. We have ongoing fielding that's happening in all of the sub areas of our grant that are not being actively constructed on. And what fielding is essentially we're sending staff out to look at the poles, get the conditions of those poles, making sure that we can actually put our fiber cable on those poles, as well as always actively identifying potential underground areas. That's our main goal, is to get things underground. However, cost prohibits that in some parts of the community, especially getting down south to like the animal control facility. That's going to be where we're going to have to go on poles. But for the most part, we're really looking at underground. And then lastly, part of my job is to ensure that we are actively reporting to our grantor, excuse me. The CPUC is the agency at the state level that's provided our grant. And so we have monthly, quarterly, and weekly construction reports that we have to report on. And we're doing that on an active basis. This slide just highlights where our grant sub areas are. Again, the goal of Shafter Online is to provide service to those that are within that area already, and to have 851 connections made by the end of the summer. And so this map is generally showing where that service will be. We are focusing heavily on the downtown core right now, moving westward and southward, and then the last section will be what I call on the other side of the railroad tracks, which will be that eastern section of town. And then it is worth mentioning, we do have the community of Bishop Acres down near our Finucane Tower hub site that is also part of this process, and they'll be getting connected very shortly. Some of the limitations that I wanted to inform you all on that we and others doing the same process at municipal level, we continue to have hardware and equipment delays. It's just part of the process. We had, $200 billion of grant funding given for these same types of projects statewide, and then all of a sudden everyone wanted to get hardware and equipment at the same. So we're dealing with some delays there. Fielding and design enhancements have to happen as we get out there, and so those can tend to update our low levels kind of on the fly, and then we have issues with getting equipment as well. There's also this sort of hidden part to becoming an ISP, and that's obtaining the technology that allows us to provide service to those. And the example that I always say is, our Shafter network, our fiber network that we have internally is kind of like the irrigation lines in your house, right? But we have to figure out how to get to the main line in order to provide that pressurized water to those irrigation lines. And that's kind of what we're doing with our backhaul services. We're currently in contract with Lumen to provide those backhaul services, which is basically the backbone internet that's going to funnel to our own network over time. And so that's basically our expansion in FFA, sort of a roundtable of what we've done. I'm very, very excited to show off the website, partly because I created it, so go easy. That's not my job title, but we're doing really well. And no, I think the community is going to find this to be an easy to use website. It's going to allow you to do so many things from the homepage, because I'm a big advocate of, get in and get out when it comes to, obtaining service from any customer. So let's go ahead and show it if you don't mind. Maybe on the next slide, I'm thinking. Yep. Yeah. Awesome. So this is shafteronline.net. You can also get there at www.shafteronline.net. The homepage is pretty comprehensive in a sense that you can open your account, pay your bill, and search to see if your residence has service. We have built in a search service for the addresses here in Shafter, and the wonderful thing is that we are using our own address point file to do it. So if you know anything about our GIS system, we have probably the most accurate GIS point file of any city in this general area. And your address will be on there.
I wonder who helped build that.
Yes, we'll get to that.
Okay, just kind of curious.
Generally speaking, if you just scroll down, you'll see information about why choose us, what our core values are, what are the services that you can rely on for having Shafter Online. An amazing thing about this process, working with Smart Fiber and Cyber Fiber, is that they don't do contracts. We offer symmetrical speeds, that meaning what your upload and download speeds are the same, which is a big deal if you're a business or you're working from home as business from home. We have 3 tabs on the top right. Again, simplicity is our goal here. Our services tab provides, go ahead. Our services tab provides a rundown to all of Shafter community about what services we provide. We provide residential services, business services, enterprise and commercial services, and we also are going to provide a significant discount to nonprofits who have direct internet to any buildings that they support or they work out of. Things like churches and others are going to be offered a discount, and all of those services can be seen on this slide. Our about page, and then you can go to the about page. Our about page basically, introduces Cyber Fiber to the community, but it also focuses heavily on the fact that you are giving back to the community by being a customer of Shafter Online. Soul Fiber is about a partnership, and the city does receive revenue from membership and from customers. Additionally, we have information about Cyber Fiber. Who are they? Why are they with us? But most importantly, and the thing that I am most happy to sort of introduce is if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, Yasmina, you have all of the public documents that are related to this entire project. Everything from our infrastructure assessment that was done in 2021 to our broadband master plan and design engineering reports that you guys have been hearing me talk about now for 2 years. And then our public-private partnership agreement with Smart Fiber Networks. So we have a completely transparent process on this website. We want the public to be informed of why we're doing this, and it's incredibly important. On our services page, and you don't have to go back, Yasmina, but I also forgot to mention, on our services page, we have a full FAQ section as well at the bottom that really does a great job of highlighting all of the points all the questions that I've collected from people over the last few months, and really giving people a good, any potential customer, a good rundown of who we are. What does it mean when I say symmetrical? What is Shafter Online? What does it stand for? So this is a fantastic resource, I think, for people who have questions before deciding to become customers. The contact section at the very end, very simple, but it does have contacts. I just wanted to point out that we are using Cyber Fiber and their maintenance and technical support resources because they are our partner. So just for the public and for yourselves, council members, that is why you're seeing Cyber Fiber there, is that we rely on them for customer support and for technical support. And so we're happy that they are the name that you're seeing. We're very proud of it. And with that, that's the website. I do have one other thing I want to mention before I open it up to comments, and that is I just want to take a moment to thank you all and to thank previous councils for supporting, funding, and promoting the use of GIS technology. I've been serving as the GIS coordinator sort of for the last 9 years, and I am just, I can say definitively that there's been no more supportive and progressive a community as Shafter in supporting our GIS technology, adopting it, implementing cost-saving and project-focused GIS solutions. I was happy to see council approve the new GIS coordinator position, and we're happy that it's open now, advertisement. And I look forward to guiding that individual in the future. So thank you all for your support on that. But with that, I'll open it up to any questions you might have regarding fiber.
Fantastic.
So how long before we can get hooked up on the east side?
Again, all of the grant locations will be serviceable on the let's call it the east side by the late summer. Again, the goal of Cyber Fiber is to design, build all of the houses and communities in those neighborhoods and not just those that are identified in the grant.
Right.
There were very specific restrictions in the grant as to who is part of the process, but those houses and businesses all around them are going to be serviceable on the same network, on the same core path. And so my anticipation would be by the end of the year, we'll have a very
So you can
strategic
integrate 'em together.
downtown Shafter, the internet connections will be
Perfect.
available in a very strategic way. Yeah. So, but even yourself, Kathy, please go online and fill out a form and fill out an interest in the product, and then we'll begin to map those. You never know who's going to do the
Super
mapping.
easy. Yeah, super easy.
Thank you.
This is fantastic to see, sir. It's been a long time coming. We've been talking about doing this for a residential perspective for a while.
Ever since we started.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and this has been fantastic to see you making this kind of progress. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's close. It's great to see it coming to a head. And then, the plan on the new construction, will that be added as it's being added onto the core housing and everything? So,
Yeah, new construction is a little bit easier. It already, because of the subdivision agreements, it already has conduit in the new construction. So getting it to there is just a process of making sure we have that fiber backbone that goes to the neighborhoods. Obviously, Gossamer Grove, Marcona Preserve, and Mission Lakes are going to be a little more difficult because we don't have a hub center there, and we're going to have to build that out. And we're actively working those projects right now to get another hub built in that part of town. But yeah, those are our main focus areas once we get the grant in.
The beautiful thing for those areas is they are covered under another ISP. So it's not like they're not covered. They are.
Oh,
That area is very much covered.
Absolutely, yes.
It's different for, you're looking at the core and you're trying to get them up to speed. And, this wasn't technology that was available years ago, so they didn't think about what to install ahead of time. So you guys have done fantastic on that. Very good, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Standing work.
All righty. That is for informational only. I'm going to move into our item number 2. Item number 2 is for the skate park restroom formal bidding authorization. Hello, kind sir.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the Shafter City Council. So I'm here to talk about the skate park restroom and parking lot. Council previously authorized sewer feasibility study as well as the development of construction plans for a new public restroom and parking lot at the Shafter Skate Park. That was awarded to QK. So the first thing they did was analyze the closest tie-in points that they could for sewer to determine if we could even get there. They were able to determine that the closest line they could tie into was on East Euclid Avenue, which is north of the youth center. And so getting there would require us to travel through their parking lot with sewer up to that street to tie in. So they proceeded with that since that was the only viable option for connecting to the city sewer. As a part of that discussion, we also looked at accessing what would be the future parking lot. Currently, there's a kind of an asphalt turnaround there that's currently accessed through Cap K's parking lot. Again, accessing it through Cap K's parking lot seemed like the most viable alternative. So both of those two items would require that Cap K provide us an easement for installing the sewer through their parking lot and then providing access. We've already kind of reached out to them and started preliminary discussions about getting those, and they seemed open to having that discussion. So for tonight, the plans for the project are complete. They're provided in your agenda packet. And so we're seeking authorization to formally bid the project. I did want to note that the engineer's estimate for the project is approximately $500,000 for the restroom and parking lot construction. That engineer's estimate was provided in your with the staff report as well. So the recommendation as written tonight would be to approve the construction plans and authorize the staff to proceed with formal bidding contingent on receiving confirmation that the necessary easements would be granted from Cap K. So with that, I'd be happy to take any questions or field any comments that you might have. Yes.
is this grant fund or general fund?
Currently, this would all be general fund. We don't have any grants for this.
Go ahead.
No,
Good.
go ahead.
On the southeast corner, there's a sump shown. Yes?
South.
It looks like a sump.
East.
So that would be.
Yes.
So is that sump provided by the developer of the adjacent commercial properties, or is that sump us?
No, that sump was provided by us, and it was constructed actually with the skate park project as a way of capturing water for that. And so we actually have two of those kind of shallow basins there where the water drains to so that we don't drain onto the adjacent property because there's no storm drain nearby,
Which would also mean no through street, right?
which would also be no through street. Yes, which the proposed development that's going east of the skate park does not have a through road
Yeah.
going there either.
You were gonna say?
My question is, and I don't know if it's really a question or it's a thought that I have. If we were to delay and wait for a while to see what happens with the commercial development that could be coming right adjacent to that,
Mhm.
would supply some restroom facilities, and we could use this funding for something else. Instead of having to set aside so much money for this one building and whatever, is that all, I mean, is that out of the question?
Are we asking a business to provide restrooms?
No, I'm saying we could wait and see what happens in that area and then use these funds for something else that's really needed at this time.
So, because it's kind of speculative, depending on the final build out, that is kind of a viable alternative. We did look at some other skate parks in other areas. Oakdale was a notable one that had some restaurant build out along it, and they don't typically provide restrooms there. That's provided by the local businesses, but that could be a viable alternative. I would just caution, we don't know when that's gonna be built
That's
out,
right.
if ever, so.
But I'm saying we could wait for another year or two, or at least a year, and see what happens in that area.
Council's call on this one.
Because I really question that amount of money with a small amount of use, that could be picked up in some other ways. Otherwise, you're gonna end up putting bathrooms on a lot of other areas that are really adjacent to some activity that has public use.
Is there no grant money available, or we haven't looked to see if there's anything that might be able to help?
And there is definitely different funding sources that we could pursue. You know, timelines on them take longer, you know, some of them that in the past, CDBG is one that has been utilized for restrooms in the past. There are other grants potentially out there that we could look for. Being that it's just a parking lot and a restroom, those for small pieces of them sometimes are a little bit tough. If you don't package them with larger amenities, but we can definitely pivot from where we are now, hold the process and try to pursue other grant options
Because-
as an option to fund this.
I kind of agree with Kathy. When they go to develop this, they're gonna have to do something there. Maybe it might be easier to see if there is a way to access what they're already gonna be doing, right?
That is definitely, you know, an option if the council.
What's being done there right now? Is there anything portable there or anything like that? Any portable restroom or anything like that
To the
at the skate park?
skate park, there currently is nothing there.
I have a question, Alex.
Mhm.
Are you done, Councilmember Espinoza? With your thought? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
If Cap K doesn't provide the easements for that, is there like a plan B as far as like, is there another direction that it could be connected to a different area or anything like that?
The next nearest sewer is all the way down to Los Angeles. You could potentially make it, you know, maybe halfway to Los Angeles on Birch, but I mean, it's a very long way, probably twice, maybe three times as far as what this one would be. Another potential option would be a septic tank. That's not an ideal solution for a public restroom. But that is another option that has been done. You have to meet certain criteria of not being close enough to sewer, which I think in this case, because it's far enough, we might be able to get away with putting one in there.
Yeah.
Cost wise, I don't know that, you know, the last septic tank we put in was for the container yard back in 2016, and that was probably $30,000 to put that in. And you're looking, I think, in the estimate, the sewer portion of this was maybe 100, so you're saving some money. But that's also long-term maintenance for a septic tank at a public facility is something we probably don't want to undertake unless we absolutely have to go that route.
And if the shopping center is built there, that really does that change anything in the sense of putting a bathroom there besides the kids that are utilizing the area, using the business restrooms if they're available? I mean, does it change anything as far as connecting to that sewer line as you're stating that is what's needed?
No, so their sewer and I don't know on the site plans if we've gotten far enough to see where their connection to sewer would be. I would imagine that they're also going to the Euclid line. However, if tying into, you know, in order to piggyback maybe off of what they would do, we'd have to tie on to their private sewer line and then run our public sewer through their private sewer, which is not an ideal
Right.
solution. If we cause a problem on their private sewer, then we're in trouble. So ideally piggybacking in that sense off of it is not the best solution.
The other question I might have is what it takes in maintenance and the vandalism and all that could happen in such a small bathroom that's really an ongoing expense for us all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd like to see us wait a little while and see what comes.
I'm not always interested in waiting, but you know that about me. However, is there, I do see some of the grant opportunities coming available for parks and art. I see those quite often. Is there a way that we can at the very least entertain, applying and seeing what's available? Is that possible?
Yeah, we can keep an eye out. I really want to set expectations though. Typically
Correct.
grants for parks aren't limited to a bathroom and a parking lot. So it is gonna be that being said, this would be a great opportunity for some state level elected to come in with some assist. So, but I do want to set expectations on the grant side. It is gonna be very tough to put this project out there.
And then if we wait another year or two, then it's gonna be that much more expensive because obviously we know cost continues to go up.
We can put a swing set.
So, yeah, do that.
Would there be a way to, see if there's any interest in, private funding towards, the project?
Looking for a sponsorship?
Yeah,
Yeah, if you guys want us to put it on the street, we can do that.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt.
Let us know. We can,
I mean, what would you do in something like that? I mean, name the building after somebody's name or something?
well, and it may be tough again, because typically people want their names on the parks. And it's hard to get them to name a bathroom, is kind of the issue, Pete, and I apologize. I'm sorry, Councilmember Espinoza. But, that could be a bit of a tougher ask. That's not to say it hasn't been considered. I know my family looked at the one out at the regional park complex. But it might be a tough lift.
Does that skate park have a name?
No, as of right now, it's
Shafter Skate Park.
Shafter Skate Park.
Yes, sir.
Well, I
That-
mean, we could name the
Just
skate, put up a plaque on the skate park for their donation for a bathroom.
If you
Yeah.
guys are open to going that route, I think that opens up a whole new window.
$500,000 is a lot of money coming out of the general fund.
Well,
And for such a small bathroom and for such a small amount of people, I mean, we gotta think out of the box on this one. But I mean, private donations and, put their name on a plaque, you know, in recognition with the skate park. It doesn't have to be on the bathroom.
Would it be okay to do just a generic kind of put it on the street, talk through it, see what's available and come back? Either, if not the next one, then the one to follow.
If you could give us a couple months, because this is,
Sure.
give us a couple months, we can put it out. Typically, we're gonna loop in Econ Dev too, because this is a good business opportunity
Yeah.
for somebody to sponsor and get them involved. But if you guys are good with that, I would just ask for a couple months, because it's gonna take some time to.
Okay.
you know.
Good with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
In the meantime, if
What do you think?
if I could maybe at least get authorization to continue discussions and potentially pursue the easements required so that we can potentially work those out in the
Yeah,
meantime.
sure.
You gotta have that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Anything on our end? Marco, do we say it right? Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. All right.
Thank
All
you
right.
for your time.
Item number 3 on our management report is the North Shafter Transportation Sustainability Plan, CIP project number ST 00022 approval. Sir?
Yes, Honorable Mayor, members of the Shafter City Council, Mike James with the City Manager's Office. The city received a Caltrans Sustainable Communities Grant to fund the preparation of the North Shafter Transportation Plan and Recommendations Report, which is basically a comprehensive study aimed at improving and master planning transportation safety, accessibility, and connectivity in the North Shafter and North Park neighborhoods. So after receiving the grant a couple of years ago, the city retained DPSI to prepare the study. which focused on technical and engineering analyses and extensive public outreach with the residents, which included community meetings, surveys, door-to-door canvassing, booths at public events, and interactive online tools. So the council also appointed Mayor Givens and Mayor Pro Tem Olvera as ad hoc committee members to participate in community meetings to openly discuss resident feedback and priorities. So the plan included with your agenda packet doesn't include a final design or even really a master plan. It evaluates and addresses issues and potential remedies, including new sidewalks, drainage systems, lighting, and dedicated parking. So what it does, the plan also puts us in a better position for grant funding for construction in the future. So officials with DPSI are here behind me to summarize the completed plan and respond to questions or concerns the council may have. The intent tonight is to have the council adopt the plan, which would fulfill the requirement of the state grant. It would allow us to proceed with design and construction phases, but it wouldn't commit us to working towards design and construction. For now, we're just here to learn about our options. And to provide more details about those options, I'm going to introduce Alexa Koloski and Scott Radsick with DPSI.
Like this, I see you're the only one standing up at this point. I feel like Scott's just gonna let you hang out there for a little bit.
Unless I call for backup.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Givens and City Council members. My name is Alexa Koloski. I'm a planner with DPSI, Diversified Project Services International. I'm accompanied here with Scott Radsick, our Director of Civil Engineering. I'm not sure that there's much more I can describe of this plan. It seems to have been comprehensively described already, but I will go over a brief overview of our findings of this 1.5 year long study process. So this was in North Shafter and North Park. As you may know, these are historic streets that were built in the 1950s, that were built without the infrastructure that you see in current residential tracts, like sidewalks, drainage, other improvements. And so we undertook a 1.5 year long process. It was a grant-funded planning process with the goal of improving transportation sustainability. So ways to encourage users to use active transportation modes of travel, like walking or bicycling. And so we took an engineering-based approach. We looked at each street on a street-by-street basis to identify what improvements could be designed in order to encourage active transportation and what would be the most benefit to these historic neighborhoods. And in your agenda packet, there is a map showing the 13 streets that we identified, and I will list them a little bit later. For our plan development, we undertook a number of technical studies. We did traffic counts for both vehicles and pedestrians and bicyclists, drainage studies on all of the streets, a topography study, a lighting study, and a number of other items. We also took a 1.5 years of community engagement. We sent out multiple rounds of mailers to both property owners and tenants or residents if they did not own the property. We had booths at various events like a First Friday event, the Christmas parade, different things like that. We had community workshops that were mentioned. And we also had a plan webpage for anybody that was unable to attend in person. They were able to submit their feedback on an online form. And this is a list of the community outreach events that occurred. There were quite a few, but we just concluded our final neighborhood canvassing event the beginning of March. We got the word out to as many people as possible to submit their final comments to wrap up this plan. And what we found during the community outreach informed our prioritization of the street improvements. So we came up with 3 priority tiers: priority 1, priority 2, and priority 3, based on the community outreach results that were received. Different streets or different residents that lived on different streets had different requests. Some wanted more sidewalks, some streets were more prioritizing drainage improvements, and others were more prioritizing street lighting. And so there wasn't a one-size-fits-all approach from a design perspective on how to address issues or problems on these streets. So that's why we developed a tier system for the prioritization. And so we provided some cost estimates and design options for all three priority tiers on a street-by-street basis. Priority 1, we identified this as streets that already had the width that was needed to build like sidewalks, drainage improvements, paved parking, paved on-street parking. And there was a large amount of community support for those improvements. And that cost estimate is roughly $4 million for those streets. The priority 2 projects require a little bit of right-of-way acquisition in order to construct the improvements, but there was still general community support for the improvements and a cost estimate of approximately $5 million. And priority 3 projects, there was substantial right-of-way needed and also not a clear community consensus on what improvements were most desired in that area or if improvements were desired in that area. And I'd like to note at this point that this is a plan and there is also a no alternative option. So this is just identifying potential projects that could be undertaken or the communities could remain as they are. And so the total cost estimate for all priority levels and all streets is approximately $12.5 million, but this does not include any right-of-way acquisition costs. As we know, the market does fluctuate year over year. And so this is just for straight construction and design costs. The priority areas for priority 1, we have the Gibson, Prince, McCrum, and Venable. Priority 2, we have Classen, Alamo, Mayer, Both, and Hicks. And priority 3, we have Park, Sunny, Cagle, and English lanes. And so these are just the general priority areas. And again, they were developed based on community feedback, the results of traffic studies, the results of our right-of-way assessment, and a number of other factors. And here's a design example. In your agenda packet, we have a priority 1 project design example for Gibson Lane. This is a major residential street. There is enough right-of-way to construct paved parking lanes. There's enough right-of-way to construct 2 sidewalks, one on both sides of the street, and enough right-of-way to have drainage improvements as well without having to encroach in any front yards. And so Gibson Lane is number 1 example of a priority 1 project design. And moving on to a priority 2 project design, we have Alamo Road. You'll note that the cross-section on this one is a little bit different. Due to right-of-way constraints or the road width constraints, there is a sidewalk proposed on one side of the street, but not both. We designed these in an attempt to impact neighbors as little as possible, but in order to still provide some amenities. And so this is an example of why streets like this would be considered priority 2 instead of priority 1. And for next steps, we have provided some recommendations on grants that can be considered to fund these projects. Our suggestions, our recommendations are to begin with the priority 1 areas where there's some clear community support and enough right-of-way, and look at grants that could be used to fund these identified improvements. And also, these streets directly connect into an adjacent project that is due to go into bidding for construction later this year. It is a pedestrian path along Highway 43 that was funded by AB 617 funds. That is the CARB and the Air District grant that has been going on for a number of years here. And so the goal is to improve active transportation in the city of Shafter. And we've provided some recommendations and some grants that might be available in order to achieve this. And I'm available for any questions or comments that you might have.
I will add, and I think you can attest to this, we recognize that you guys have put a lot of effort into this. And sometimes even in community meetings, it's difficult because there's a lot of personalities in the room. That priority list that you saw on the screen, I feel like you quickly went through that.
Yes.
That is a bigger deal than what you imagine. And I guess I want to just say this for the record. A lot of the issue, especially as you move from priority 2 into that priority 2 range or priority 3 range, is this idea of acquisition, right? Right-of-way acquisition. And one of the statements that we had made at the last meeting was simply, if we don't have a full consensus on that street to go down this road, we're not going down this road. It's not someone had mentioned the comment, I guess for council's edification on this, someone had mentioned a comment about, well, the city will just do eminent domain and we won't get a say in this. The answer to that was, and we told them this, the answer to that is no. If everyone can't agree and we can't come up to, can't come to the table and say, this makes sense, let's do it, then we just don't do it. That also led to some frustrations for some other folks who said, well, I want it done, so why can't you just do it? We recognize that it's difficult on both sides, but in no way is the city trying to take things from people. We want everyone to be able to come to the table collectively, be happy about this and say, yes, let's go, let's run with this. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. There are some really odd design areas out there. We had that confrontation with a few of them and rightfully so. It's difficult to try to design through some of this. So I want to say to both of you, to Mike and your team as well, that has not been easy to go through. I think you said it like, yeah, this is priorities and we're going to be good. It's a lot deeper than just saying that. And I do want to just give you guys a lot of credit in going through and putting this together, spending the time and doing it, listening to the stories and coming up with what you believe is a pretty viable solution. But again, it's not a one size fits all. Thank you for saying that. And there is no desire, no one here is coming down this idea of eminent domain. That's not happening whatsoever. And I think you can attest to the same thing on those conversations.
No, absolutely. I think you guys have done great work and even talking to the residents out there, I think like the priority one, I think for the most part, everybody was in agreement.
Yeah.
That's something that they wanted. It was kind of unfortunate that we weren't able to talk to any of the other ones where there was going to be some acquisition that needed to be taken from the properties, but that would have been kind of good to have that discussion for them. But I also think as the community starts seeing this development and these streets coming in, I think that may trigger a little bit of mind changing where they can come back and say, well, let's see what we can negotiate and see what's going to work. And I'm hoping that it goes in that direction because I think it would just it would benefit that whole entire area by doing this type of project. So, but thank you for this.
To be clear on some of those priority threes, and I think Cagle and Park were some of the major ones. You're pretty much you've got a sidewalk out their front door.
Yeah.
This is sometimes a hard ask for people because you're giving up a lot and we recognize that. So again, I thank you for going down this road. I hope council, you guys take a look. Yeah, the plans beyond that and the booklet that's inside that, and inside your agenda has a lot of information in there. So I hope you guys have had a chance to look through it.
I've looked through it and I have not attended any of the meetings, but we've had presentations given to us prior to getting into the study. And I have a lot of concerns about us getting into a project that is going to rebuild a section of for almost a new community. And I don't know that it's fair to consider what we have already established in the city. I mean, we didn't always have top-notch areas either. And yet this one came in and it's always been under the county. The county did nothing for them. And I'm sure you know that. And so then when you go out and you talk to individuals that are going to express what they want or what they see as what they'd like to have around, most of them don't even own the place.
Right.
So did you ever talk to any of the homeowners? I mean, were they involved? Are they going to be able to come forward and be part of this program?
Councilmember Prout through Mayor Gibbons. Yes, we did. We did send mailers out to the property owners on record, requesting responses if they would be supportive of right-of-way acquisition or not. We did not receive full consensus on a street-wide basis. Some property owners were like corporations in different states. Some did not return any phone calls. And so if the property owners were able to give a consensus all the way down the street on right-of-way acquisition, then a project could be considered. But if there's one property that holds out, it would be difficult to construct improvements and then stop at that one and continue constructing through the street.
Because even as we got involved and offered or worked with them to get sewer as well as water, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. And that was probably one of the best things that rewarded them because they needed it and we needed to see that improvement. But to go in and do this major thing. Now, my question is, what does your report do at this point for the future? I mean, should we still be continuing And that's where, you know, even Mike and I have had a little bit of discussion about it. Do we continue? And then what does it do? I mean, you can have a whole bunch of pages written up as to what you want to see happen there, and then it's not ever going to happen.
Right.
And so what have we done?
Would you like me to answer?
I'll
Okay.
Say ditto. I love
The
it.
purpose of the plan is to better position you for grant funding, to be eligible for grant funding. We've done a large amount of community outreach, which is a large proportion of what is required for grants. And that's a large reason why a lot of jurisdictions don't have the capacity to go after grants, is because the community engagement has not been done or they don't have enough staff. And so we've identified 3 priority tiers. We're recommending tier 1 or priority 1 projects be considered for grant funding first due to no right-of-way acquisition necessary. That way, if approved, the project could be constructed and would not require reaching out to like out-of-state property owners to construct.
Because even to jump in now to do this sidewalk, because I've been on the 617 for 7 years too. I
Right.
mean, we've had that going on for a long time, and staff's been involved in it, and you see how slow and how frustrating and difficult that is too. And yet that project isn't completed either, and I'm not sure how that's gonna work into the whole plan. I mean, we gotta use the funds if we're gonna get them. It's been granted for us, but that's not an easy fix either for out there.
I'm happy to share that 90% design plans have been submitted to Caltrans for their approval for Highway 43 project, for the AB 617 project, and it's in their final review. And
Right of way required, that's the
No,
reason why
yeah.
that's why we're as far along as we are, is because there's no right of way. We're working within the existing right of way.
Yep.
And we've been working with Caltrans for the better part of a year, just to kind of coordinate those improvements. So those improvements will be constructed because there's minimal to no obstacles.
Yeah. So that still didn't complete my whole question. So does that mean we should still say we need to continue with this project? Or are we gonna put ourselves in a bind where we don't have the finances and we're not gonna go forward very far, and people are not gonna be happy? There's always gonna be dissension.
Councilmember Proud, what is your question?
My question is, do we need to accept this and continue forward, or are we going to say it isn't going to happen? It just isn't going to happen in one big piece.
Councilmember Prout, the recommendation is to have you adopt the plan because that's the requirement of the grant, and we fulfilled the grant
Yes.
requirements. And so we adopt the plan, and then possible next steps include having DPSI or other engineering firms prepare proposals for the actual design, because this is a design, and we could get the design done. And I don't know that we're gonna find any grant funding for that, but at least it kind of gets us that much closer to having a marketable grant project. And maybe we, as Alexa pointed out, maybe we market a grant for the priority 1 areas. Particularly if there's a priority 1 route directly to Highway 43, we're already gonna build a sidewalk and link at least the North Shafter communities to the Highway 43 and ultimately to the core city with a uniform bike lane or bike path or combined use path, I guess is what we're calling it. But so there's a couple of options, and DPSI, to their credit, and I'm gonna use this opportunity to kind of give them a shout out. They've offered to provide services to help us pursue those grants. And they're also likely going to submit a proposal for the formal design work so we have biddable plans, at least for the priority 1 areas. So we'll have to come back to you for that consideration. Adopting this plan doesn't give us the green light to do any of that. We have to come back to you for those next steps. But we're at a point where the grant's about ready, where our grant funding agreement is going to expire next month. The plan's done, and we'd like to have it adopted, close the grant, and then come back to you with possible next steps.
Yep. Sir?
Only if we get a restroom.
Well, there's one at the park.
Any other questions or comments, folks? None? Okay, at this time, we are looking for a motion and second to adopt the plan and fulfillment of the Caltrans Sustainable Communities Competitive Grant Requirements under agreement number 74A1479. I need a motion and a second, please, to carry.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera, second by Councilmember Alvarado. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Givens.
Yes. And once again, thank you all. I know this has not been easy whatsoever,
It's
and
not
we,
easy for us either.
we are in high hopes that we are able to get the grant funding through the design phase and get this going. I think the residents out there would be ecstatic for it. So thank you,
I'm happy to continue working with you.
for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Alex. Management report, item number 4 is the well 22, well 23 drilling project award to Bakersfield Well and Pump, sir.
Glad to be back. Honorable Mayor, members of the Shafter City Council. Council previously awarded or authorized bidding for drilling and construction of well number 22 and potentially well number 23. Well 22 was the base bid for the project with additive alternate items for drilling well 23 in the event that prices were favorable. Well, just kind of for reference, well 22 is located at the new North Shafter Community Park site on the southeast portion of that. That's the location for that. 23 is on Tulare Avenue, just east of the LGI track that is being constructed. There was a carved out parcel there for the well site. So staff publicly opened bids on February 6th. The lowest bid was submitted by SA Camp Pump and Drilling in the amount of $991,287 for the base bid portion. However, after reviewing their bid, it was determined that the contractor did not meet the minimum experience requirements specified in the contract documents. So it was required that the contractor had constructed at least 4 reverse rotary large capacity municipal wells to a minimum depth of 1,200 feet, since that's the depth that we're going to be drilling with our project. And after reviewing their bid, it was determined that they did not meet that requirement. And because this requirement constitutes a mandatory minimum qualification standard, it cannot be waived without compromising the integrity of the competitive bid process, because that's the standard that all the bidders were, required to meet when we put the project out for bid. We did give the contractor notice and an opportunity to be heard and, make a case that they have met the requirement. However, they were not able to do that to show that they met the minimum depth requirement. So because of that, we determined to deem their bid as non-responsible. So staff, the next lowest bid that was submitted by Bakersfield Well and Pump, and they were determined to be the lowest responsible bid in the amount of $998,918. They've completed numerous wells beyond the 4 that were required at the required depth. They've actually completed numerous wells for us in the past as well at the similar depth. And so with that, what the recommendation would be tonight, we're suggesting that we award the 22 drilling, and in addition to that, we also award the well 23 drilling, which would be all the additive items that they supplied. They supplied the same exact numbers for 23 as they did 22, and they came in favorable. So that would be a total amount of $1,997,836. And so we're recommending a total project budget of $2.2 million to cover construction and allow for contingencies on that. So before I get in kind of to the recommendation, there's one change that I have to make at the end of the recommendation. So I'm going to kind of go through that here. So funding for these wells is already programmed in the CIP under WA 16 and WA 20. And there's adequate budgets already set aside for them as a whole. However, in the CIP, it was anticipating that some of this project would be covered by grants, for both of them. And then it was matched with connection fees for the water. So at this point, we don't have a grant for either one of them. We are still pursuing grants for both of them, and one of them looks really promising for well 22. And so the grants then at that point would go to the actual site development for the project and not to the well drilling. So this is only for the well drilling. This will allow us to kind of be in a better place to move forward with those projects going forward. So what I'm going to ask for tonight is that we up the portion of the water connection fees that are associated so that we can complete the project with that, because there wasn't enough water connection fees in there assumed. So what the requirement or what the request would be to authorize up to $1.1 million in connection fees for both project WA 16 and WA 20 for this phase of the work. Currently WA 16 has $672,000 approximately of water connection fees tied to it. WA 20 has 900,000 tied to it. And both of their total project budgets are like 3.5 million, 3.8 million. So that's the rest of that we would anticipate coming from grant funding. And the project is anticipated to last 120 calendar days, regardless of if we award one or two wells. So they could concurrently kind of do both wells. So moving on to the recommendation for tonight. I'm going to read through it. All of it at the beginning is going to be the same as kind of what's in the staff report, and then I'll add the little piece at the end for the record. So the recommendation for tonight would be to find the project is exempt from CEQA, accept bids for the well 22-23 drilling project, determine SA Camp Pump and Drilling Company to be non-responsible for failure to meet the minimum qualification requirements set forth in section 1.1.1 of the contract documents, and authorize the Public Works Director to issue a notice of award and notice to proceed to Bakersfield Well and Pump for the well 22 base bid and the well 23 drilling project, all of the additive alternate items, as the lowest responsible bidder in an amount not to exceed 2.2 million. And then the portion to add, and authorize up to $1.1 million in water connection fees to WA 16 and WA 20 for this phase of the work. All right, and with that, I'd be happy to take any questions that you might have. Apologize for the lengthy item.
You were on the road. You should have added the restroom in there.
I don't have any questions.
No questions?
Thank you, sir.
Oh, man, I had to write that down. Sorry.
Okay.
That was a lot to write down. The authorization of the 1.1 million from water connection fees. I want to make sure that is not to add water connection.
No,
fees.
that-
For the record, it's to use water connection fees money to cover said cost of well drilling.
Up to 1.1 million for both 16 and 20. So it's going to be a $427 and change $1,000 add to 16 and a $200,000 change to 20 to WA 20.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that was clear for the record in case someone asked and said, what, you're adding cost to our water? No, sir.
No.
Okay, any other questions or comments on said item? Hearing none, can we just motion and second to exactly what Alex has stated, sir?
The amended recommendation.
The amended recommendation. I need a motion and a second against the amended recommendation that Alex has noted for the authorization of an additional 1.1 million, up to 1.1 million for WA 16 and WA 20.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera, second by Councilmember Espinoza. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yeah.
and Given.
Yes, thank you, sir, very much.
Thank you, guys.
With that, I'm going to move into our city manager comments and reports. Sir?
The only thing I wanted to say, I wanted to follow up with Chris's prior comment. You guys made a sizable investment in the maintenance of the fiber loop this last budget cycle in the amount of $300,000, and that's greatly helped speed up a lot of this stuff. Just wanted to say thank you and recognize the IT team for doing that.
Thank you, sir. Anything else?
Nothing.
Department Director comments and reports.
No comments, no reports.
Very good. We have no recess or closed session for this evening. It is postponed for the next meeting. I need a motion and a second for dismissal.
Aye.
Motion by Councilmember Espinoza. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera. All those in favor with dismissal with aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Opposed. Hearing none. Dismissed at 7:33 PM.